Where do we disagree? Islam.
Straight in.
Yeah,
wow.
Islam. I haven't even been recording for the first half an hour. We're starting now.
Yeah, right. Welcome to the show, Islam.
Islam. There's a character on your show called Jonathan Pye. Is that what it is?
On Call Jonathan Pye, yes.
Yeah.
So Sam, I thought that was... it was interesting. When I first recorded that, we recorded it and the three other characters were white. And then we went to the BBC. I was like, they're bound to want a non-white character in this. It is the way of the world. I'm not moaning about it. Let's use it to our advantage. It means that I can discuss things as a writer that I can't if there's 4 white people in there, right? So initially in my head, I wrote him as a black kid. And then when we were just auditioning, Aki auditioned and it was like, yeah, you're great for it. Making him a Muslim, there you go. That's something. Well, he is Muslim, so you go, we'll write for him, and that was really valuable because it meant that I could talk about things that I couldn't if his character wasn't in there.
There was a bit I saw, and you said, and bear in mind it's all scripted.
Yep.
You said, in this political climate, if I treat women like shit, I'm part of the patriarchy. If you treat a woman like shit, to the Muslim person, who's, by the way, a great actor,
yep.
He's very good, you're part of a rape gang. Now, and I suppose...
in context, that works, by the way.
It doesn't sound funny now. It was funny when you say...
Well, it's not even funny. It's a valuable point in the context of that particular conversation because he's being an asshole, because he's been captured by Andrew Tate, basically, this character, and he's being an asshole to all the women. It's like... The truth is that there are some people who would blame your religion on that, rather than who you're listening to on your podcast, and it is true. You go, I'm an asshole to a woman. You go, it's fucking patriarchy. He does it. It's part of his culture rather than him just being an asshole.
But there is a reason that Andrew Tate converted to Islam. An economic reason, I would imagine.
What to get them in? Yes, yeah.
So it does. Maybe there is something about the
quite
Muslim culture.
Possibly, yeah.
I guess that's the point. But that I think a lot of us feel, not necessarily you or Jonathan Pye, but a lot of the kind of the BBC or whatever are failing to realise, and many of us sort of feel there's we're in real trouble. We feel really sort of petrified by, just as I would if there were maybe millions and millions of Scientologists now in the country, or Hasidic Jews, but scarier because Scientologists have never thrown a gay fellow off a building.
Yes.
Is that something of concern to you? And do you feel like it needs to be spoken about more? And are you thinking, I don't want to be concontroversial? I understand.
No. What I don't want to do is fudge an answer about something that I don't have. I can only really talk about, I lived in Whitechapel for up until about 3 years ago, which is a predominantly Muslim area. And I understood, like, if someone, a mate or, I don't know, my family member came to stay, how to them it would be a culture shock. Everyone's in hijabs and all of that. Mm-hmm. But it just didn't fucking bother me, I think I'm lucky, right? Because I do live in London and it's a multicultural experiment that works within its own terms. But you go 10 miles out of London and things suddenly become... The multiculturalism doesn't quite work so well, right? Mm. So I'm probably not the best person to ask because I'm like, hey, it's fine. We all just get along, Mm. But I think what I would say is that immigration, to me, if I'm voting in an election, immigration, way down the fucking list of things that I give a shit about. But I am aware it's the first or second on lots of people.
It's number one for me,
right? And unless that gets addressed, you ain't going to be voting Labour next time, right?
Yeah, whereas I used to look at both and go, which one?
Yeah.
And now whichever one is going to shut the borders faster.
Yeah.
And if I heard someone say that 10 years ago, I'd have gone, what? You're mental.
Yeah.
But it's gotten to a point. I mean, it's something like 53% of Muslims want homosexuality to be outlawed. Yeah. 40% want Sharia law in this country. There's a significant number on the MI5 terrorist watch list. I mean, this is... I think that's what a lot of people watching want to communicate to you or BBC people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm not BBC people, but yes,
or someone who works with the BBC. You're an acceptable face at the BBC, which I don't think I would be.
Yes, that only recently has that sort of, have I had sort of the BBC stamp of approval, I guess. I mean, what I would say about that, this might be a nice pivot, but having worked with Radio 4, it's the least censorious place I've ever worked, ever, Which
is good to hear.
I wouldn't be able, I don't think Audible would put my podcast on. I think there are too many issues. They just go, no, we won't have it. Whereas Radio 4 were like, you can just push this as far as you like. I was amazed. I'm not sure that that's correct in the BBC necessarily as an institution, but the comedy and drama and some factual on BBC Radio is possibly some of the best you will get, and the least interfered with that I've certainly experienced.
That's really good to hear.
Yeah.
And very different, markedly different to a lot of the TV output, I think.
I think the TV at the BBC, I've not had a huge amount of contact with them because they won't fucking let me on. But I think that's a different kettle of fish, probably.
Do you think if you did make a point about Islam as Jonathan Pye, there might be complaints, there might be problems?
It depends how you do it, right? I mean, if it's me doing a 3-minute down the barrel outside Westminster thing, it's kind of difficult to touch sometimes really potentially incendiary subjects. When it's in the podcast, which is essentially a radio sitcom, really, that's easier because you can make Pye right or wrong, but if he's wrong, you've got someone in there to tell him he's wrong, and then you've got the Muslim kid coming in and telling him why he's wrong, but then, so then there's a discussion about it, so you can explore it, and it is obviously a fiction.
Sure.
Whereas when I'm doing stuff down the camera, people don't know that it's a fiction. So I censor myself a lot more than I used to when I'm writing the stuff to camera, because I realise that have I covered all bases? Because otherwise all I get is millions of people go, yeah, but you didn't say that. So it's sort of just an exercise of making sure the argument is tight enough. Yeah.
Imagine if you could put it out there and never look at the comments or Twitter or anything.
These days, that is how I live my life. I mean, I try and stay away from Twitter as much as possible. Yeah, I rarely read the comments anymore because, well, to start with, it was great, and then now it's just
what a handsome man. He's very. Oh, I wonder if he's single.
It's like the online thing. You can have 20,000 thumbs up and 100 thumbs down, and you look at that and you go, "Why the 100 thumbs down?" It's like if you're performing live and it can be a full house and everyone's loving it, but there's some asshole on the third row like that. It's all you can see all night. It's just the one person who's not enjoying it. And I think online is a bit like that. So just stay away from it. And you realise it's not the real world, is it? What goes on online. It's sort of a reflection of the world's opinions, but it's not really what people think. I don't think people behave the same as they do in real life. This really weird thing happened when the horrendous attack in Israel happened, and when something horrible happens, sometimes I get, "Are you going to do a video about it?" It was like, "Sorry, you want me to write some gags about this?" Like really? Okay. But
Andrew Lawrence might have.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he'll be straight in there selling tickets. But I think it was a matter of hours. It might be a day, but it was a matter of hours that I was getting all this shit, and I couldn't work out what it was. And it was people going, "Jonathan Pye hasn't said anything yet. Jonathan Pye hasn't condemned this. Jonathan Pye, Gary Lineker, they haven't said anything about you bastards. You must be an anti-Semite or whatever." But it was huge, and I was like, "All right, maybe I should have made a comment or not, or condemned the violence or not." But what sort of person sees that on the telly and goes, "I'm going to go fishing and see who hasn't said anything, and I'm going to publish." You go, now that's the behaviour of an asshole, right? Yeah.